The neon lights of Neo-Shanghai's entertainment district cast kaleidoscopic shadows across the rain-slicked streets as Madeline adjusted her neural interface collar. Her emerald scales shimmered beneath the synthetic fabric of her evening dress, each one catching the light like precious gems. She was a Dracari, one of the proud dragon-descended species that had joined the Galactic Council 3 centuries ago. Tonight, however, her pride felt more like a burden. Another blind date, she muttered, her forked tongue tasting the polluted air with distaste. Why did I let Kira talk me into this? Her friend had been insistent. You need to get out more, Maddie. Not every male in the galaxy is intimidated by a successful Dracari attorney. Easy for Kira to say. She wasn't a 7-foot-tall scaled warrior woman who made most species nervous just by entering a room. The restaurant was called Harmony's Edge, a deliberately modest establishment that catered to interspecies couples. Madeline's amber eyes scanned the crowd until they settled on a lone figure at a corner booth. Human. Male. Wearing clothes that had seen better decades. Lincoln stood as she approached, his worn jacket showing patches at the elbows, his boots scuffed and faded. He was tall for a human, perhaps 6 feet, with dark hair that looked like it had been cut with kitchen scissors. But his eyes, those gray eyes, held something unexpected. Intelligence. Humor. And not a trace of fear. Madeline, he asked, extending a calloused hand. She shook it carefully, mindful of her talents. Lincoln. You're human. Last time I checked, he replied with a crooked smile. Is that a problem? It shouldn't have been. But Madeline had grown accustomed to dates with successful Dracari merchants, Zinthari diplomats, or at worst, wealthy Corellian traders. Humans were still considered a novelty species, barely 2 generations into galactic society, still struggling to find their footing among civilizations that had mastered faster-than-light travel before humanity had invented the wheel. No problem, she said, sliding into the booth. Just unexpected. Dinner began awkwardly. Lincoln ordered water and the cheapest item on the menu, a simple protein synthesis bowl that cost less than her appetizer. Madeline felt a twinge of guilt, but pushed it aside. She'd agreed to this date. She would see it through with grace. So, Lincoln said, Kira tells me you're a corporate attorney, specializing in interspecies trade agreements. That's right. I work for Nexus Consolidated. We handle contracts between Earth companies and off-world corporations. She paused. And you? What do you do? Lincoln scratched his neck sheepishly. Odd jobs mostly. Cargo handling, station maintenance, whatever pays the bills. It's not glamorous, but it's honest work. Madeline's heart sank. She'd been set up with a dock worker. Not that there was anything wrong with manual labor, but her mother's voice echoed in her mind. A Dracari of your status should seek a mate worthy of your bloodline. Yet as the conversation continued, something strange happened. Lincoln was interesting. He spoke about the stars with a poet's reverence, about humanity's place in the cosmos with philosophical depth that surprised her. When she mentioned a complex legal case involving quantum entanglement patents, he not only understood but offered insights that made her reconsider her own arguments. You're remarkably well-educated for a cargo handler, she said, unable to hide her suspicion that Lincoln's smile turned mysterious. I read a lot. The station library has an excellent collection. They talked for hours. The restaurant staff began cleaning tables around them, dropping gentle hints. Madeline found herself laughing, truly laughing, for the first time in months. Lincoln had a way of seeing through the pomposity that plagued galactic society, of finding the absurd in the self-important. Walk with me, Lincoln asked as they finally left the restaurant. The city's gravity generators hummed beneath their feet as they strolled through the crystalline gardens of the upper plaza. Earth's moon hung huge and silver in the artificial sky dome above them. Can I ask you something? Madeline said. Why did you agree to this date? Surely you know that Dracari women typically seek, well, wealthy mates. Lincoln finished. Yes, I'm aware of the stereotype. But Kira showed me your picture and told me about you. The real you, not your bank account or your status. She said you were brilliant, fierce, and lonely. That last part interested me most. Madeline felt her scales flush with heat. And you're not intimidated? Most males, even Dracari males, find me too aggressive, too ambitious. I find you magnificent, Lincoln said simply. They stopped at a railing overlooking the terraformed valley below. Madeline's heart hammered in her chest. No one had called her magnificent before. Impressive, yes. Intimidating, certainly. But magnificent. Lincoln, she began, I need to be honest. I don't think this can work. Our lives are too different. I have obligations, expectations. I understand, he interrupted gently. But before you make up your mind, I should probably be honest too. He pulled a small data pad from his jacket. My full name is Lincoln Chun. Perhaps you've heard of Chun Industries? Madeline's eyes widened. Chun Industries, one of humanity's largest interstellar corporations, the primary manufacturer of quantum drive systems, worth trillions. You're the Lincoln Chun. Her voice came out as a whisper. The billionaire who disappeared from public life 5 years ago. Guilty. I got tired of people seeing my wealth instead of me. So I've been living like this, working real jobs, meeting real people, trying to remember what it's like to be judged on character instead of credit balance. He met her eyes. Tonight was the first date I've been on in 3 years where someone saw me. Just me. Without any pretense. Madeline felt her worldview tilting. You let me think you were poor. I let you see who I am beneath the money. And you were wonderful, Madeline. You were awkward and snobbish at first, yes, but you pushed through it. You gave us, a real chance. She laughed, a sound like wind chimes. We're both idiots, aren't we? Both hiding behind false assumptions. Spectacularly idiotic, Lincoln agreed. Madeline looked at this human, this impossible, brilliant, infuriating human, and made a decision that would have horrified her mother. She leaned down and kissed him, tasting rain and stars and possibility. When they finally broke apart, Lincoln grinned. So, second date. Absolutely, Madeline said. But next time, you're paying. Billionaire. Deal. But I'm still wearing the jacket. As they walked back through the neon-lit streets, scales and skin, dragon and human, Madeline realized that the galaxy's greatest treasures weren't always the ones that glittered most obviously. Sometimes they came disguised in worn jackets and crooked smiles, teaching ancient species that humanity's real strength wasn't their technology or wealth. It was their ability to see worth in others, regardless of status or species. And sometimes, just sometimes, that was enough to change everything.